Hey everyone, welcome back to our Walk with God time together, where this season we talk about springtime. This series, like I mentioned last week, is where we are going to be taking some time to get to know and appreciate the gift of God's creation that is popping up all around us. This week, we will be talking a little bit about this tree. Can you name what type of tree it is? You can see it around Central Park. We are going to be talking a little bit about the legend behind this tree. We're going to be talking about what its leaves remind us of, and we're going to be hearing some scripture that shows us just how joyous nature can be. But first, before we do that, we are going to sing together. And this song, just like our tree, is believed to have its origins in the South. So let's sing the African American spiritual song, Down to the River to Pray. And I'll see you on the other side. Able to guess what type of tree that was? It is a dogwood tree. Now, I love dogwood trees. I think they're beautiful. And I grew up in an area where we did not have dogwood trees. So when I moved all the way across the country to North Carolina for school, I saw this tree and I thought to myself, what an interesting tree. It has flowers on it, not just leaves, but petals and flowers. And it caught my eye, and I have loved it ever since. So here's a little bit of information about the dogwood tree. And if you find one, you can go and look up close at its leaves and its petals, and you can see these things that I'm going to talk about. So if you look close enough, there are 4 petals on dogwood tree flowers. And it makes it look like the shape of a cross. You have 2 that are a little bit longer and 2 that are shorter. It looks like a cross. And if you look even closer, the very center of the flower kind of looks like a crown of thorns, which is what Jesus was said to be wearing while he was on the cross. The little spiky bits in the middle that you can see, and it looks like the crown of thorns. And there at the end of the petals are these dark marks, and they're almost like little holes at the very tip of the petal. And it looks almost like nail dents. It's crazy to see. So naturally, that was how the dogwood tree got the legend that it was actually the tree that Jesus's cross was made out of. And that's why the flowers look like this, to remind us of the crucifixion of Jesus. So, whether or not that's true, it's a cool story to have to tell people about dogwood trees. And it's a way to remind us how interesting all of the nature around us can be if we look closely enough. So I encourage you to go and find a dogwood tree and see these details for yourself, but to also take some time to look at the nature that might be right around you, maybe in your backyard or even in your house. We have plants inside our house too, right? And take some time noticing the details. How many leaves are there? How many petals might be on some of the flowers you have in your garden or in your house? Once you start paying attention, you start noticing little details, and it's wonderful. A scripture I want to share with us comes from the book of Psalms, but it comes from Psalm 96 specifically, and it's verses 11 through 12. And so here are those verses. Let the heavens rejoice, let the earth be glad, let the sea resound, and all that is in it. Let the fields be jubilant, and everything in them. Let all the trees of the forest sing for joy. I love this part of Psalm 96 because what it does is it points out how happy nature can make us feel sometimes. Have you ever walked into a garden that was just bursting with life? Maybe you went to Central Park and you went through the rambles and you see all these trees around you, and something inside of you just feels happy. And the person who wrote this psalm way back, long time ago, felt that same thing when they looked at God's creation. Not just the flowers, but the sea and everything you hear mentioned. Creation is rejoicing. It's giving thanks to God as it blows in the wind and as it looks up to the sun. Everywhere you look, nature is there, and it's celebrating its life and its season. And it's a good reminder that we should do that too. Take a moment to celebrate the season that we're in, this season of spring, of new life and new growth. Because we know that summer is then coming, and then fall, and then winter, and it happens all over again. So it's always great to stop and give thanks for the season that you're in, because you know it will be over, but you also know it will come back again. It's never the end. We will always come back to spring. And what a great thing to celebrate. So go outside, enjoy the trees, go find a dogwood tree, and be jubilant with nature and say, thanks, God. I have some pretty cool things to look at outside. Stay safe, and I will see you all next week.